Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who's got a new beer for a new year. It's Frank. How are you today?
A new beer for a new year? Is that what I hear?
I needed something akin to what Robert Downey Jr. said, but I lost what my original thing was going to be, and it was much better than that. But I'm happy to have it rhyme all the same.
That's okay.
That's
Hello.
okay. Indeed. Frank, how are you today?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We're here to talk about San Diego Comic-Con news, something we've been doing for over 10 years now. I feel that, 10 years we've covered San Diego Comic-Con news coming at you in an untimely manner.
Yes.
The
only way we know how.
That's right. Yeah. It's late, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
We needed some time to chew on it. We don't just bring you the repeating headlines. No. We take time to chew on it and give you our commentary, our thoughts, our considered analysis of that trailer you liked.
Exactly. And so, Frank, anyway, I sent you a list of things I made 2 seconds before this episode started. I hope you consider it well as we talk about it.
I very much will. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Frank, what are you drinking on the show today?
I am very excited as I continue working through my stash of beers from a family party where some very kind relatives left me some nice beers. I have a beer from Treehouse Brewing. Treehouse Brewing in Charlton, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Those of you who have traveled I-95 will know well the Charlton rest stop. But Treehouse is a very much sought after, hard to find. I don't think they have any distribution. I think you have to go to the brewery to get it. And they limit how many you can take home with you. So it is a, kind of a rarity. This is their summer double IPA. And it is indeed a double IPA, let me tell you. It is made with flaked oats paired with sunny American hops, including Magnum, Citra, and Amarillo. And it is an unfiltered double IPA that has aromas of orange juice, which I do get, and some mango and clementine. I get a little bit of that as well.
That sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of citrus going on in there.
A lot of citrus.
Citrus.
It's got citrus hops, which is a variety of hops that have sort of a citrusy taste to them. So I'm sure that goes a long way for it. But it still has the sort of double IPA. It's a double IPA, so it's got the bitterness that you expect from an IPA. Don't get me wrong, and the heaviness, but a little sort of hint of citrus to give it a little bit of a fruity sweetness on top of all that bitterness. What about you, my friend? What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking the last remains of anything closely resembling alcohol in my fridge, and which this hilariously doesn't have any alcohol in it whatsoever. But it is from a brewing company. I am drinking. It's funny because I can't say drinking, but I'm drinking a drink that has zero alcohol in it. I'm drinking a Lagunitas Hoppy Refresher, which is their sparkling hop water, which I've had a few times on the show before. It is the last vestiges of any one that has existed in my fridge.
Is there a flavor? Is there a flavor to it?
It is like you. I went for the citrusy zing, not on purpose.
Nice.
Again, last thing. that was available to me. It is only made with carbonated water, hop extract, and natural flavors. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means, yeah.
And so it's good. I mean, it does kind of taste like it does taste more like, I would say, a sparkling seltzer that is beer flavored. Like it's, as opposed to a non-alcoholic beer or just a regular beer.
Yes.
But I'm going to count it because it's Lagunitas Brewing Company, so I count it.
It is. What's funny is that the hop water you are drinking is made with Citra hops, and so is the beer I'm drinking. So,
see, we're just like bros.
It's basically the same
bros.
thing, is what I'm saying.
We're basically drinking the same thing. I can feel the double hops in my hoppy.
Sure, but minor detail.
Minor detail. Frank, speaking of details, we have a lot of things to talk about through San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to ignore a lot of things because people have already talked about them.
Listen, folks, this is a 30-minute show. We got to keep it tight.
Tight. So anyway, the news that everyone's wanted to talk to us, the Doctor Who spinoff.
That's all anybody's talking about.
Honestly, it was at the top of so many lists that were, from Doctor Who websites. So it's important to somebody. No, but really, this is the first time ever a Doctor Who spinoff. They're doing a Christmas special. We're going to get the new companion. But they also announced, Disney and BBC announced that there's something called The War Between the Land and the Sea, which is a new series written by Russell T Davies and Peter McTighe. Rather than the Doctor, the new show will revolve around a group of humans as they work together to face the Sea Devils, a race of ancient ocean-dwelling creatures who first appeared in Doctor Who back in 1972. This has me written all over it, Frank, and I mean that quite seriously.
Really?
I love me some creatures from the ocean. I'm on board. Like, it really isn't, like, much to get me. Like, what do you mean humans battle ancient mythical creatures? I'm in.
My eyes glazed over completely.
Yeah, because you don't like creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Here's the thing. I there have been Doctor Who spinoffs before.
Sure.
There was K9. There was Torchwood.
I forgot Torchwood was a spinoff.
Torchwood. Yeah, I didn't feel compelled enough.
Sure.
To watch them, and this
Doctor
one
Who is
a
B tier for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Didn't feel like it. This doesn't feel like it's for me. But it does feel like it's for you.
If it's a full series, it might not be for me, but the rest of it could be,
I mean, like a one season spinoff could very much be for you. I feel like if it goes on for years and years, maybe you won't stick with it. But like, I could see if it's a 6 or 8 episodes and done type of thing. I could see you getting into it.
I could be in for the mini. I could do the 8 episodes and be out. But I don't know if I could return for something like this all the time. It doesn't feel like it's something that is going to be all the time. But it
doesn't sound like it has legs to go that far. But who knows? Legs can go under the land and the sea. So who knows?
Studies show creatures do have legs under the water. It's not all fins down there, Frank. Some people have legs.
See, surprise to me.
Yes,
to me.
See, who knew? Next up, keeping in the sci-fi sphere, Star Trek. We got a couple of things. Starfleet Academy is their next show that's coming. Surprisingly set during the timeline of Discovery, not in the Next Generation-ish, line. I guess this is the future. That's the future we're in now, like where they jumped. Next Generation jumped several years, and like this is the one we're jumping into. Honestly, don't love it. Don't like that.
Is this a Tilly vehicle?
She's in it.
Yeah,
she is in it. But so's Paul Giamatti, so I'm in.
Yeah, which is perplexing to me.
He likes sci-fi. He
apparently
no, he does.
I know, I believe it.
Yeah, people ask him what his favorite thing that he ever worked on, favorite film he ever worked on. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. He says, and he said his team was like, you don't want to be in makeup. What do you want to do? You want to play human? He's like, who wants to be human in Planet of the Apes? Give me the makeup. He said, no, I think he actually does like sci-fi. So,
I believe it. It's just
he also likes money.
Associate him with sci-fi, right? Like that's
No, I really don't. I associate him with quality acting, Amazing Spider-Man 2 aside.
Right.
So,
okay, but let me put it to you this way. Do you associate Kelsey Grammer with Star Trek?
No, but he is in it.
He's in it.
I do associate him with sci-fi, though.
It's one of those of like, oh, really? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I do actually equate Kelsey Grammer with he's in Transformers. He's Beast. So like that doesn't
Beast. I mean, that's not. I mean, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I suppose it's not what I think of when I think sci-fi. Like I said, it's a superhero.
I understand. I understand what you mean, but
yeah.
Anyway, I don't love that it's that future. It's just like that Star Trek-y. It doesn't feel like Star Trek enough to me. Like,
yeah.
Like it's too far in the future where you're like, I can't even tell what your technology is or what you're doing.
Right.
Things seem a little too convenient, but also super inconvenient still. Like it doesn't. None of it meshes, and so I would have liked a different time. It could be post Next Generation, post Voyager, whatever. That's fine. Like, but just like continue down that path instead. But hey, what do I know?
It's wide open fields in that timeline, right? That's what makes it attractive, I'm sure, to a writer and a showrunner. Is like you got a blank slate, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything goes. There's no continuity stuff to rein you in. You can it's white space. You can do whatever you want with it.
It's true. I guess you do have to be a little careful on something, so you can't be like, oh yeah, the Klingons, they all died. Like you can't really do that.
Certainly,
people are going to be like,
well,
why? Yeah, I'd like to know why.
But like, within reason, you can kind of do whatever you want because 1,000 years in the future, like you can. That can be the reason for lots of things. Like, well, yeah, but it's 1,000 years later, so it's fine.
It's true. I don't know. I think I'm just projecting because like Discovery was really just okay, so I'm projecting onto.
As am I.
That
As am I. Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. There's a Lower Decks season 5. It's coming out. It's the last season. Looks great. Love Lower Decks. Do you watch Lower Decks? Yeah. Okay. Looks great.
I'm in season 3 right now, but yes, I do watch.
And then there was a trailer for the first movie for Paramount Plus, Section 31. Did you watch it?
I have not watched the trailer yet. I'm still on my sort of trying not to watch trailers bender. But I've heard some things from it. Tell me your thoughts on it.
I think it looks terrible.
Really?
It looks awful. It looks like a movie I would never watch. But it's got a Star Wars tag on it, and I'm like, well, it's not Star Wars, Star Trek tag on it. So I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. But I also didn't really care for Philippa Georgiou, like as a character. She didn't really do anything for me, so I don't know. But I also like want them to make more Star Trek movies. So like, should I watch it for that? Like, I don't know. I was really conflicted, but I just don't think it looks good.
I like Michelle Yeoh as an actor. Philippa Georgiou.
Yep, that's how I feel too.
As a person, as a character, like, she's kind of a villain. So not my favorite, but I really like her. Like, I liked watching her performance as that character as much as I didn't like the character herself. Right? It's like the villain you love to hate type of thing.
Yes.
So I would watch it for her. For Michelle Yeoh, in theory, but yeah, I don't know. It sounds like the reaction I've seen online is kind of all over the place, but sort of in the middling. People are not super excited about it. It sounds like, from what I've seen. So I'm keeping an open mind, and I'm interested in checking it out. But I'm not. My expectations are not super high.
No, mine are in fact are quite low. But yeah, it's tough because I think Discovery left such a weird taste in my mouth, like for mediocrity, and so I just like I'm just afraid that anything it feels like even though like there's other stuff, but I think Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks feel like I don't know, accident in some ways. Like, you know,
Happy
they're
accident,
happy
right?
accident. Like, oh man, we created something really good here.
If I were at Paramount, I would be leaning into the Strange New Worlds of it all.
Yep.
But they seem to be going down the Discovery path.
Right. But
which, like, I don't understand. I mean, I understand from the point of view of, well, this is blank space that we can do whatever we want with it. We can play in this space a lot. Like, I get that. It's a sandbox. You can do whatever you want. But in terms of what is resonating with audiences and what is, like, true to the feeling of Trek, it's Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks.
Yeah,
like, it's Strange New Worlds, man. Like, that is the place you want to be, like, investing in. I think, but
maybe their audience for Discovery was better than we know, or maybe the audience they're trying to get is better, and that's
maybe
more important
Paramount
to
is
them.
bad at this, Tim. Maybe Paramount is just
bad at this, Frank. I think that's
maybe
actually
just
pretty well known. Yeah. If there's anybody worse at their IPs than Warner Brothers, it's Paramount.
It's Paramount. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As much as the word Paramount means like the peak, it is actually the opposite.
It's not. They're at the bottom. They haven't even hit the summit yet.
It's the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, the base camp has not been set up yet. Like, no.
Yes, exactly.
A couple of Sherpas made it up early, Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, but the rest of them, they're not there yet. Anyway, in the DC world of things, they have a new old logo for DC Studios.
I'm happy to see the old logo, the Bullet logo back.
Me too. I really
am.
like it. I don't know why it's called the Bullet logo. I don't understand. It's a circle, right? Like, why is it called that?
Yeah, you're right. And the things around them are stars, not bullet holes.
Correct. So I don't understand where that came from. I'm sure there's a reason.
I have to question my entire life now.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could be here for you.
I've always just mindlessly called it the Bullet logo. Did it used to have bullet holes in it or something? Is it?
The stars are new.
Okay.
So the stars, it didn't use. I don't think it used to. Did it used to be stars? I don't know. In my honestly,
I'm looking at my shelf that's right behind me, which is the closest I can get. Like my single issues are in another room, but my trades are right behind me, and none of them have that logo. So I can't even look for reference.
I have one that has that logo. Hold on, I will actually get up from my microphone to go.
Yeah,
check.
all of mine have the like peeled,
give me 2 seconds.
the D that peels to reveal the C behind it, or the just straight up, D C side by side with comics under it, or the DC in the circle. But I don't have any trades that show the so-called Bullet logo. And so, I'm looking at my entire shelf. None of them have that logo on them. So I am going slightly crazy trying to figure out exactly why we as fans, as a fan community, have called it the Bullet logo. And in fact, I feel compelled to use my one lookup because... yeah, why do we call it that? When I look at old, I've looked it up. I'm looking at images of it. And okay, there are stars on it.
There are stars in the original, the black one.
Okay, there are. Here's what it is. The reason it's called a Bullet, I'm looking at it and I'm really thinking critically about it. It's because it looks like the back side of a bullet where you have like sort of the circle within a circle.
Oh, okay.
Take the stars out of it. It just looks like there's like a circle with another circle inside of it. And that's what the back of a, not the pointed side, but the dull side.
I understand what you mean.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. Anyway, I like it.
It's a stretch. Admittedly, it's a stretch, but it's been a stretch since 1976. And I have not given it. So anyway, I use my one lookup to look that up, and I am now, my curiosity is satisfied.
Well, I do like it. I like that it's kept with kind of the gradient blue that we've associated with DC for several years now, since the switch from the Bullet one. Actually, they've had that blue consistently throughout, so I like it very much. The official DC account also changed to that one, so, and not just the DC Studios. So I'm curious if like it's a whole. I'd be surprised if it's not a whole brand. Like
it seems to be
over.
like DC Comics as a whole has gone back to that. It is what I'm.
Man, I've never seen a company change logo so fast, like than DC. Like it feels like every couple of years since that one, they just like keep changing it.
That one was 2005 when they moved away from it. So that's almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we had like 3 of them since then.
Yep.
We had just the circle. We had the one with the D and the peeling back to reveal the C.
The worst one, arguably.
Yes.
Yeah, the one with like the spot, the one with the like circular like disc behind the DC.
Yes. Yeah, they've had like 3 logos in the last 20 years, which is kind of a lot considering that the last one went from 1976 to 2005.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. I think it looks good. So they
probably didn't need to file a new trademark for it, so there's that.
No, that's good. I also saw James Gunn said that like when they took the studio, him and Peter Safran were like, we know exactly what we want the logo to be. This one that is associated with DC for decades.
Yeah,
like just consistent branding, people like. So it's good.
Yep. Yeah.
In the DC Studios world, Creature Commandos got a release date of December, and a trailer. You're not doing the trailer thing, so I assume you didn't watch the Creature Commandos trailer.
That is correct.
Okay, that's very good. For you, I will not spoil it, but it looks great.
You can tell me. I mean, look, anything that's in a trailer is not a spoiler. Like I'm prepared to be spoiled by someone mentioning it, and talking about it. I just don't need to watch it.
Gotcha.
General visuals in my head.
General tone is hijinks. Like I'd say, like it's action comedy for sure. And there seems to even in animation, there's an emphasis on relationship. That's like
cool.
What that was kind of my takeaway from the trailer. Looks like it's a lot of fun. Basically, government said you can't use humans like Task Force. You can't use humans like in the Suicide Squad Task Force X anymore. Like we're shutting the program down. And Amanda Waller's like, said you can't use humans. Like, gotcha. Like. And so I'm on board. That was
to Waller.
Yep, that was enough for me. Viola Davis is back voicing Amanda Waller, the part that keeps on giving for her, apparently.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. Her husband was the one that convinced her to play it, too. She's like, I don't want to do that. He's like, nah, do it. She's like, fine.
That's
all
cool.
right, whatever.
That's cool.
So good for her. Just doing it. My Adventures with Superboy, we're getting season 3. We already knew that, but we're getting
My Adventures with Superman.
Superman. I said Superboy because Superboy is coming in season 3. I got confused.
Yes.
We're getting Superboy with the jacket and the glasses. Don't call me Superboy.
Yeah.
And
Metropolis Kid.
Exactly. And Bald Lex in the poster art thing. Is he that stressed? He's already lost all his hair. Poor man.
Look, some of us, the stress of just turning 17 is enough to make
it all go away.
Not that I know anything about that.
I wouldn't know anything about that, truthfully. Yeah. One day, maybe, but not today, Zerg.
Based on what I've seen of your
family
parentage on both sides, you're good.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Not for a long time.
You're set. You're good.
I agree.
Damn you.
Sorry. And finally, kind of the big news out of DC Comics is that out of Absolute Power, which is running right now, there's going to be this all-in initiative, which is not a reboot, they said, by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like now would be a good time to read comics. Like we're all like we're in it, baby. This is the time.
We're not renumbering them, but pretend we are.
It's more like the good jumping on points. A lot of new teams for books, whatever.
I'll tell you what. I have not felt like I had time to justify keeping up with comics in a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those moments where I'm reconsidering, and I'm like, it seems like with All In, from what I've seen, it seems like Superman is pretty central as like an anchor to the universe in a way that I haven't seen. Like they kind of pretended to do that with Rebirth, and it seemed like he was going to be an anchor. And realistically, he didn't turn out. He wasn't as important to the whole of the universe as I thought he was going to be. But this is feeling like he is a central point.
I understand what you mean. I think,
yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
I think Superman reforming the Justice League, it tells you
that's a big thing.
He's a central leading point.
Yeah, that's a big factor. So that's exciting to me and like enticing, and it draws me in. For him to be one of the like central,
it doesn't hurt that Mark Waid is going to write the book either.
Exactly. Like that's
2 Superman books. He's doing Action Comics too, so he's doing Superman. He's doing Justice League Unlimited and Action Comics. So
like somebody who loves Superman and loves and understands Superman in a way that, as much as in a way that few do. Like he has a special love for that character that I think I identify with in a big way, and I like his philosophy on Superman. So I am very excited by that.
Yep, me too. I mean, I haven't really stopped reading comics, and so like you say, like it's hard to justify the time.
You've been very consistent.
I have. I wasn't for a very short amount of time, and I found that I like actually really missed it, which is a good sign for, I guess, part of your hobbies or whatever. They like, when you don't miss doing something, you're like, oh, I guess that was just wasting my time anyway. But like this one, I actually missed. I'm like, like what is happening? And so I caught back up again. And granted, it was like only a couple months time, and I don't read the sheer number that I used to. Some books that I was reading out of habit, I don't read anymore, whatever. But I kind of search for writers that I like or characters that I really like or takes that I think are going to be interesting. And so I'm a little bit more judicious, but
yes,
and if the book isn't worth my time, I dropped it, whatever. But,
you've been happy though. I mean, I feel like you've been pretty consistent. Even when you were reading less, you were still reading the Batman titles, were you not?
Yeah, actually I dropped Detective Comics a couple of years ago because I didn't love what Ram V was doing. And so, but I kept reading the other Batman book, but, I actually been loving Superman books more than the Batman books recently. So, but it goes back and forth, I like good writing and I like good art, so I'll kind of follow that more than a particular character now.
Yeah,
I guess I changed my ways, but anyway, all this is leading to this split where they said this. So basically, the DC universe that we know and love is created on like Superman energy, basically, like this, which is again Superman centric, like this love, compassion, goodwill, all this stuff, and this new without
truth, justice, all that stuff.
Correct. And so, but we don't have any information on this because it's all spoilers. But they said, but basically, there's a new universe that's going to be created from dark side energy, which is chaos and disorder and pain and all this. So it's like a heavier, darker, hope, love, and compassion for all is not really in the way that the universe is structured. And with that comes a brand new version of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman with other, heroes coming eventually down the line. I think Flash is already announced and whatever else. And, there's, they don't have loving families. They don't have money. They don't have, like, Wonder Woman doesn't have Paradise Island. Batman doesn't have money or Alfred. Superman doesn't have the Kents. Like, it's just like, kind of truthfully, I hate the term, but it is the gritty version. But I actually do like that the main universe is like, no, this is goodness and happiness and compassion and love. And if you want the Zack Snyder stuff, we made this little separate universe for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like, to me. And honestly, that's really smart.
It sounds spiritually like a successor to like Earth One.
Yes,
right? Remember
I agree
the
with
Earth
that.
One, Batman Earth One, Superman Earth One. Like they did a couple of, and those were just trades, right? Those went straight to trade. They were not single issues. But those were, oh gosh, what year was that? It
was a long time ago.
I want to say 2013, 2014, something like that. Maybe before that, 2012, around there, 10-ish years ago. Let's say, give or take 3 years in either direction. Was one I'm thinking of. And that's not for me. It's not aimed at me. But the all-in, like the main universe being Superman-centric, that is aimed at me. I think I will read Absolute Superman out of curiosity.
Yes.
But I don't expect to keep up with it because I think it's not aimed at me, and it will probably lose me.
Yeah, the
fairly early.
The gritty is not really for me anymore. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's never been my whole taste, but now like
Sure.
it's just really not where my interest lays the same way without real purpose, unless like hope is actually like tinged. Dark Knight Returns is a good example of this, where it is like pretty dark and gringy and dirty, but the whole idea is about regaining hope because of that
Right.
dirtiness. Is the light shining through all of that? And so if this is like dark for the sake of being dark, then I'm like a little less, not less interested. I would like to know what they're going for with it, but I do like the idea of instead of kind of pushing that into the main continuity, like let it be its own thing. You know, I like the idea. So, and the writing teams are quite good. And like we talked about with Star Trek, in the future, there's like this freedom of storytelling, and new universes give you a whole freedom of storytelling. Like you can really do anything. So that's exciting. In the Marvel,
agreed.
In the Marvel side of things, at least the movies, they did a couple of things. There was Thunderbolts. That's a movie that's coming out. Captain America is another movie that's coming out. Most of that was really centered around Harrison Ford, who was like, I saw a lot of good actors having fun, and I was like, I want to have fun. I want to do that. I want to have fun and get paid a lot, I would assume. And so he is, replacing William Hurt, who sadly passed away a few years ago. But he said that he was encouraged to find his own voice in the character, and it's a complex character, and so I'm looking forward to his take on Thunderbolt Ross and Captain America. But that was pretty much the news on Captain America, except that adamantium is confirmed to be in the movie. That's its connection to the Eternals and whatever else. Right. So, and Kevin Feige said, like, I didn't think I could get any nerdier until I saw Harrison Ford say the word adamantium, and I was like, like, well, there it is. It got even bigger. Like,
I did see that like clip.
Oh yeah.
And that was that got me.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Seeing Harrison Ford as president again after Air Force One.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is like,
did you
in my head canon it's the same president? Like obviously it's not, but in my head canon
it is. Yeah. Did you see the Leslie Nielsen joke? Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible. So those of you who
don't
don't
to
know,
explain it to our listeners who might not.
So those who don't know, so like is the Naked Gun? Is that the movie that it's in? There's in the I think it's the White House. There's a portrait of Harrison Ford as the president of the United States in that movie as a joke. But in this movie, there's a portrait of Leslie Nielsen as the president in the White House in Harrison Ford's White House. It's amazing.
So good.
It's so good. Like just
so good.
Good. Just so good. Fantastic Four is duly named Fantastic Four First Steps for reasons unknown to me. Like if it's a new movie for here, no one's going to confuse your two other Fantastic Four movies with this one. It's fine. However, it makes me think there's a baby on the way because they confirmed that this movie is not an origin movie. Like they're already the Fantastic
interesting.
Four.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then.
I think there's going to be there's a leaked trailer that was online. It was just a cammed version of. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like a lot of almost like 60s TV like variety show stuff with the Fantastic Four. Like Reed was teaching a class and Ben was in like a dating show and like all this stuff, but it showed bits of their New York City and the Excelsior launch pad, which is what it officially named in the thing, and like the spaceship, and it's all like the Jetsons. It looks like the Jetsons, and it's super cool. And I'm totally in love with the aesthetic of it. I'm totally on board. It looks like the World's Fair's future and like things like that.
That's the right vibe.
It is the total right vibe.
Perfect vibe.
I'm so on board. I can't even tell you.
What did they call it in Iron Man 2? Like the World Expo or
World
something
Expo,
like that?
Yeah. It's like one of those kind of things. But
yes,
it takes place in a different universe. It's not 616.
Yeah,
So they can do it. They can do it. They can make it look like whatever they want. But I do think with it not being I think what was filmed and was shown to the audience is basically here's the origin of the Fantastic Four. Here it is. Here's your introduction. And then let's get on with the story. So,
one of those, like, here's a super quick catch you up on the origin, and let's get into the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, even cammed, I'm very excited.
Nice.
Like, so excited. So anyway, the biggest news is that the Russo brothers are back to direct the 2 new Avengers movies, hence titled Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. It was originally supposed to be Kang movies. They announced Dynasty of Kang. But apparently Jonathan Majors had in his contract that only he was ever allowed to play Kang. Ever. And so...
Which is an interesting thing to include in a contract.
It's like he knew.
Right?
Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
anyway.
Sure, Marvel won't be doing that again.
That's over.
Yeah, so... But anyway, so they're pivoting towards Doom, which is what people had thought they were going to do with the whole Jonathan Majors fiasco. They were going to go in the way of Dr. Doom. And the Russo brothers, who are back, they said, we owned the greatest actor in the world. We needed him to play Dr. Doom, and here he is, Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. How do you feel about this?
Weird. I feel weird about it.
It feels good. It's like,
I feel weird about it. It's
Marvel incest. It's like gross.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I can't help, and I don't want to feel this way, because see my earlier comment about Superman and hope and like things shouldn't be dark and grief, but I can't help but be a little bit cynical about, like, okay, let's bring back the Russos because they know how to make billion-dollar grossing films.
Well, they know how to make billion-dollar Avengers grossing films. Anything they've made after that, maybe arguably hasn't been great. Correct.
But when you put them, pair them with Avengers, and you get $1 billion. So like Bob Iger could really use one of those right about now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, that part is not even cynical. That's just clearly that's why they're back.
Yeah, which is fine. I liked those other 2 movies, so like I don't care. Hey, good directors came back.
I'm not complaining to
see
directors who made great films come back to do more. Like, that's how I'm happy to see that. It's then like when you also bring back Robert Downey Jr. that it starts to feel a little bit cynical, where it's like, and you guys like him, right?
It totally does feel like that. Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to bring back Chris Hemsworth too, and he's going to be like
yeah.
What
There's a lot of memes going around, like someone was like, Chris Evans, have you ever think about playing Captain America? Like, I know he's like, that's because he's probably Magneto now. Like, I don't like, but yeah.
It started, that starts to feel a little bit like, come on, like. I know. You and I have slightly different feelings about this, but scold me for a second. The sort of trope that Hollywood is always doing remakes is only made stronger by the idea that we're going to not only are we going to retell the same stories over and over again, we're going to use the same actors over and over again because we know you like seeing them, and it starts to become sort of like, are you really only going to go to guaranteed, like, we know this guy's gonna draws an audience, we know this person draws an audience, and we're just gonna keep remaking the same stuff with the same people? It starts to feel
I can understand from the money part of it in that they did kind of bank on an up and coming, and that shot them in the foot horribly, right? They really had to pivot all these different ways, like, and
with Jonathan Majors.
And so, like, I can understand being like, we know Robert, we love Robert, let's go with Robert.
Go to something tried and true. Yeah.
From Robert Downey Jr.'s perspective, a lot of what he's done after being in Marvel hasn't really worked either. Like, like, he hasn't. I mean, obviously, he won an Oscar. Like, so, like, good, good for him. But he basically had to fight to be in that movie. Well, not fight, but no one wanted him. But you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have surefire hits just from being Iron Man afterwards. And so I saw somebody was like, he got his Oscar and went back for the money. I respect that, and he went back for the money. Reports say he's getting like an $80 million payday, plus private jet, plus this, plus pay-ins, whether it makes this much money and this much money and this much money. So, like, I can understand why he wants to do it himself. That's,
yeah.
Here's the thing, too. What I think annoys me about it is that, like, he is the face of 20 years of almost 20 years of Marvel, 15 years of Marvel movies. You know, he launched 1,000 Marvel movies.
He is so associated with Tony Stark that it's going to be hard to see him as any other character, let alone as a villain.
Right, because it's not like it's even in a different universe. It's the same universe. Like, it's one thing when you're like, oh, like Michael Keaton played Batman and now he's the Vulture in the MCU. Whatever. He's an actor. Good for him.
Different universe.
Totally different universe.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Whatever. But this is the same universe. It's the same.
Exactly.
And that really annoys me. And I just like the Marvel trope of, well, Tony Stark created the villains. So he created all of them is kind of odd if they've just, a couple things. We have yet to see a tried and true Doctor Doom on screen. Doctor Doom's a great character.
Yes.
He doesn't need special things to make him different, like interesting. He's great on his own.
I don't know, man. The Doctor Doom that we got in 2016 or whatever it was, like, yeah, that was a pretty
aluminum foil Doctor Doom. You're right. He was pretty great. He was pretty great. You're right.
Oh my God. Reynolds, Doctor.
Yeah, he's like a bobblehead made of aluminum foil. Stupid.
I'll sign your dolly.
Yeah. Stupid. So there's that. But I think that people's big concern, my big concern was that, like, he's going to be playing Tony Stark. Like, oh, it's revealed that Doctor Doom is actually an evil Tony Stark. Like, I don't want that. Some people have been like, "Oh, so you should just do Superior Iron Man instead." When he like is that, and like, I don't want that either.
No.
Just let Tony Stark be. However, what's important detail to note is that the Russo brothers, when they announced him, said, "I introduced you like Victor Von Doom. Here he is. Not anything else but that." So I think they're doing like Marvel has reused actors before. That's not new for them. Gemma Chan got used. Gemma Chan,
yeah,
got used twice, and then a few others here and there.
Josh Brolin, but like,
oh yeah, Josh Brolin, right? Well, technically, it doesn't count in the same way because they,
well,
like,
yeah, So that's kind of my point. Is that it's either people who are not famous enough to where it really matters. Sorry, Gemma Chan, I'm sorry, but like either that or like so different that it's not
right. They wore makeup,
comparable.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, or as mocap, right, or whatever. Right. So here's the thing: Doctor Doom famously never removes his mask ever because he's horribly scarred, and so if he never removes his mask. Or if his mask is CG and Robert Downey Jr. can do whatever he wants, like on set.
Mm-hmm.
But you never see his face. He's got an accent. He's got a different voice. Downey Jr. is good with the accents. He can do voices, whatever else. Is he just another actor playing this character? And so if you remove the Iron Man from it, it's just the actor, Robert Downey Jr., playing Doctor Doom. Am I okay with it? Because I don't see him. I can't associate it with Tony Stark if he doesn't look or sound like Tony.
Theoretically, sure. But I don't see them paying him $80 million and not showing his face.
So by Palmer, friend of the show, our friend Palmer.
Yeah.
He said, yes, you forgot the rule, like, we're paying this actor money. We need to show his face for the publicity of it.
100%. I just don't see that happening. I don't see them making a big deal about it being Robert Downey Jr. and then not showing his face or showing his face very little. I just don't see that happening. That does not seem realistic to me.
I don't know. Unless they're thinking, which could be true, is that because it's Marvel and it's Robert Downey Jr., you actually don't need to show his face because it's Robert Downey Jr.
I don't think that. Okay, I disagree only because they want to promote this movie. They will want to promote this movie on the back of the star power.
Sure.
And him being arguably the biggest star in it is too big a draw to pass up on. Like, you can't just be like, well, he's the most famous person and we paid him an obscene amount of money. But we don't need to show his face. We don't need anyone to know that was actually him because, like, that's fine. Like, the people who know will know, but, like, we don't need to show it. No. They will be like, we need to show it. We need to obscenely show his face because, like, people love him and they will come to the theater if he's in this movie. And if we tell them, hey, the guy you love is in this movie, come see it. Like, they will not turn their back on billions of dollars, potentially billions of dollars, because, like, well, the continuity would be better if we don't do that. Like, they're going to go for whatever makes the most money.
That's true. But does that end up hurting them in the long run because they're compromising, like...
Yes, that may be true, but they don't know that.
No, I think they do know that. Truthfully, I think they, or at least some of them know that. But maybe the people who make the ultimate decision don't know that. Something like that. Care. Because, like, don't care. I'm not sure because, like recent years aside with these Marvel movies, like, most of them are hits. They're not misses.
Agreed. Yes.
Even, like,
I don't know.
Their worst movie
Deadpool,
is...
and Deadpool made some really valid points about, like, everything since Endgame has been really great.
Yeah. But, you know, like, even their worst movie is still pretty enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it may not be great. And, like, they have been known to make just okay decisions with their villains. The Mandarin, looking at you. You know, that's other villains, I'm sure, will come to mind. The elf guy in Thor 2, didn't love, kind of whatever.
The entirety of Thor 2, really.
Melchizedek, Melchior, Melifilic, I can't remember his name.
Mel Torme.
That's gonna bother me. Mel Torme. Yeah, you nailed it.
I already used my one lookup, so I'm out.
I'm not gonna look it up. It's not worth it.
Okay.
So, like, but I feel like Doctor Doom is just, even for them to be like, all right, you know, Elf Man in Thor 2, okay, whatever, you know, but are you really going to screw up Doctor Doom? Really?
I don't think they'll screw up Doctor Doom. I really don't. I don't think they're going to screw it up.
They will if he ends up being a Tony variant. That's not going to fly.
Well, that would be screwing it up, yes. But I don't think they'll do that. If they do, that would be like steering into the iceberg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I don't think I don't think Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers are going to steer into an iceberg like that.
No, probably not.
I'd be severely disappointed in them if that's what they end up doing. I just that seems too obvious and too obviously a bad idea for them to, like, go into that fully, like, eyes open, let's do this.
It's just more like that's been the trend of these movies. You know, it's like, here's the variant, here's the, you know, like, it's why the MCU doesn't even have its own Green Goblin. It has Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, which is great, you know, who's excellent, you know, but, like, it's not original to they got trapped in their own like usage of stuff, so none of it feels fresh or authentic.
That is different though, because it's the same actor playing the same character.
Oh, that's way different. Yeah,
right. Like, versus a hero playing.
Please bring Toby Kebbell and play a better play a better version.
Yeah.
I don't know, and
I just have I want to believe X-Files poster. I want to believe that they have a plan, and that the same way that I was like, okay, you're going to resurrect Logan, even after we saw such a great Logan film that had a great ending to it. You're going to bring him back? Okay, I don't know about this. And then it turned out to be like, oh, you went in a direction I didn't expect. This is great. I love it. I'm on board.
Yep.
I want to believe that's how this is going to turn out. I just, from where I sit right now in 2024, I can't see what that is. Maybe they have a grand plan that I can't see right now, and I want to believe that that's the case. but I find it hard to see how that's going to materialize.
I completely agree with you in the I hope they have a plan. I think they have. I would assume they do. I like a lot of thought would have to have gone into this for to pay an actor $80 million. Like you can't be like, we'll figure it out. Like it just they have to have some kind of plan. Their jobs depend on it, like and everything. So I just don't know if I like the plan, whatever it is.
Right.
But from our perspective, also it just reeks of we want your money.
It does. It does. That's what I mean by it's like it seems very cynical and it seems very like give us your money and we will give you Robert Downey Jr. on the big screen. You always have liked that, right?
Yeah, sure, I have, but I also like the other ones on the big screen too. And the thing is that like it's unfair to him to say like he can't possibly play Doctor Doom, just Doctor Doom, because honestly, I think he can. Like,
I think he can. That's not even the point,
right?
Like,
no, it's not right. But I think all of it, like that, should be the point, and like all this other stuff is like. I would say that all this other stuff is taking precedence because that's what ends up where my mind ends up going, where I just wish I could be like, that actor's going to do a good job playing Doctor Doom, whoever that actor may be, happens to be Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, in an ideal world, I agree with you, but like at the same time, the context of this same person played the greatest hero, the hero who made the greatest sacrifice in this whole story up till now.
Mm-hmm.
Is now going to play a villain. That's hard. It's hard to just on a very basic level to see that face, the face of the person who made that great sacrifice that saved the universe, to that same face on a villain now.
Yep.
I
agree.
Less than 10 years later, it's just hard to swallow.
I completely agree, and that's why I'm just really hoping that it's
I'm hoping that they have some grand plan that we can't picture right now, and that when we see it, we'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Truthfully, I think it's leading to a full reboot of the Marvel Universe. Like
that would be really the only way to really accomplish.
Not necessarily even a full reboot, but I think it's leading to a full reboot that transitions into the world of the Fantastic Four. That's kind of my understanding, because they're putting a lot of work into the new aesthetic of this world and establishing them as something completely different instead of being in this Marvel universe. So why wouldn't you just then start fresh again with Marvel's first family?
Yeah.
Right.
The Fantastic Four is a great place to sort of restart. If you're going to do that, if that's what they're going to do, they are like the perfect way to do it, especially because of how like they have been, I think, arguably more than the X-Men, they are the piece of the Fox Marvel universe that people have really craved to have pulled into the existing MCU. So if you're gonna do that, I feel like that's the right place to start, especially sort of the Fantastic Four feel more spiritually and I don't know, their energy fits the existing MCU more than the X-Men do. So like if you were gonna do some kind of a reboot, hard, soft, whatever, the Fantastic Four feels like the right direction to go with that.
I agree. Yep.
So like that, I'm okay with. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with like if he is okay. If Robert Downey Jr. is the Doctor Doom from another universe, even, right? Like from a different timeline, from a different universe in the multiverse, and like that Doctor Doom has Tony Stark's face, I could be convinced to be okay with that.
But it's actually just Victor Von Doom. He just happens.
It's just Victor Von Doom. He just happens to have Tony Stark's face, like the face that in this universe we know as Tony Stark's face
is the face of Victor Von Doom.
But he is just
universe.
It just happens to be the same face. Like that, I could like that's the flimsiest excuse, but I could go with that.
I could go with it in a way that I could be like, oh, that would be very offsetting for people and whatever. But like, unless it's serving a story purpose that is undeniably amazing, no. It's just, it all feels like you wanted money and you wanted money, so you shook hands and Robert Downey Jr. is going to get money early, and Disney's going to hope that they get money after, which they will because it's going to be an Avengers movie.
Of course.
Like,
I mean, as much as we're talking about, like, oh, that seems really cynical. Well, I'm still going to give them my money.
I'm going to
I hate to say it,
because I
will.
do want to see it, and I don't even think it's going to be a train wreck or anything. Like, we just last episode talked about how great Deadpool and Wolverine is. Like, you know, it's not like they've lost all their mojo, and I'm watching Batman and Robin over and over and over again. Or
agreed,
you know, like whatever. Like, it's just a choice.
Even a Marvel slump, so to speak, is still something I'm willing to pay to, because like the track record is so good that it's like even in a slump, I'm still here to like get to the other side.
I just don't love that they're like, please give us your money. This is what we're doing, and I'm like, I see what you're doing. Here's my money. Like,
okay, I'll pay for his private jet.
Yes, basically, yeah. But also at the same time, like, I could have watched another actor play that part just fine. I'd have been happy. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I hear. Yeah.
There are other great actors out there that would have been totally great.
There are.
He's a very good actor. I don't think he's the greatest actor that ever walked this face of the earth.
No, and like I can't. I'm thinking
Daniel
like,
Day-Lewis ripped off that mask. I'd be like, holy moly! How did you get him out of retirement, Marvel?
I was gonna go like a Christoph Waltz, like who is like a great villain already, and you know, like there's.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of ageist a little bit, but he's 59. Like, I don't know.
Downey,
yeah. And just like, I guess, but if he's only doomed for these 2 movies and it's a reboot, what does it matter? But
he's 59. He's got the swagger, you know, like he does.
He's got, yeah. But
I hear you. I get what I do get what you're saying. Yeah. But he doesn't look it, I guess is really.
No, he doesn't look it, but it's just more like I think more like the longevity of playing characters, you know, but you know, I want Doom to be around more than, you know, one time, but
yes,
I'm ahead of myself here, you know, because we just don't know. Right. Just don't know. So
if he, you know, I still think that we're going to see him in some form or fashion as Tony Stark again.
Absolutely. If he's back as Doom, there's no way that he's not also going to be Tony Stark.
If he's breathing, there's no way they don't bring him back.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as he lives, I think there's always a possibility. You know, Hugh Jackman until you're 90, like that goes for Downey as well.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's the closest equivalent you can get. Like, for the pure longevity. Yes. Jackman's been doing it for 24 years. Downey's been doing it since, 2008? So, you know, but
almost 20 years, like
almost 20 years,
25, 15,
but
14 years, whatever. Like
technically, he stopped. If he's playing a brand new character for him,
sure.
But I know we're talking in circles, Frank.
We are, yeah.
Where can the people find us?
You can find us all 500. Talk about going long, 500 plus episodes at beerwithgeeks.com. You can rate and review us in any podcast app. Leave us your thoughts. Your reviews really matter a lot. Your comments on Spotify, that's a new thing, so please do that. And you can support us apart from your subscribing and following and rating and review us. You can support us with your hard-earned cash to help us with the costs of paying for Robert Downey Jr.'s private jet over at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio so that we can keep making these podcasts and also fund his travel around the world.
Very important part to fund his travel.
Arguably the most important thing we do here.
Couldn't be more important. What could be more important? Just that. Contributing to greenhouse gases. Anyway, Frank, It is a pleasure to talk to you, as always. And so, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.